Being a Muslim in the West, we all know how incredibly lonely it can get being around so many people who don't share the same views with you at all. Now, personally, I've struggled with loneliness for a majority of my life because I wasn't really hanging out with people that were similar to me. Mainly, I was hanging out with the kuffar, like white people, and a few other immigrants or whatever, but I never really had a community of people who shared the same views as me, right? And then one day, something incredible happened. I got offered a position to teach martial arts at a local mosque on Fridays. At this point, I was so pumped up, bro. I thought this is going to be my breakthrough. I'm finally going to meet people for the first time. Think about it, for the first time since I arrived in Australia in like 10 years. There's going to be people who think exactly the same as me. People who have been through the exact same story, the exact same pain, I was so pumped up, honestly. So I do this for a couple of months, right? At the very start, not gonna lie, bro, I was trying to convince myself that I was having the time of my life. I'm just talking to these guys and I'm like, these guys are so cool. Yeah, like I love it. I'm starting to get along with people. But truthfully, you can only lie to yourself for so long. And I started to smell this aura of fakeness. Now, this whole channel is dedicated to telling the truth. So I can smell fakeness from a mile away. I can tell when people are not being themselves or saying things that aren't really true, right? And I started to feel this very intensely. It hurt me deep in my core, trying to act the way they're acting. Like basically every time they said things like, Subhanallah, brother, that's haram, leave it up to Allah, this, that. I was looking at them and obviously these things, we have to say them once in a while, they're quite beautiful. But I could tell very clearly that it wasn't genuine. I just looked at them and I thought, there's no way you would be acting this exact same way outside of the community or outside of the masjid for that matter. But now, just because we are in this context, now you're going to act like a completely different person. And like, I don't mind it that much because we are in a Muslim community. So, in a way, we have to act a bit different. I understand that. But just the idea of trying to out Muslim people all the time. You see what I'm saying? You can relate to this, can't you? And look, I can only speak from my experience. I don't know how other communities are. The few communities that I've interacted with, I can say this for sure. Eventually, I started to distance myself because I couldn't handle this fakeness any longer. The thing about acting fake is that it actually has a damage on your nervous system. Every single time you lie or act in a way that you know deep down that's not you, and you're just putting on that act because of the people around you. Your nervous system, it's almost like a little shock wave. And it keeps getting weaker and weaker and slower. Whereas every single time you tell the truth about things, even when it's inconvenient, it's going to get stronger and stronger. And that is also why some people are able to speak their mind so fluently and quickly without any hesitation. Whereas some people can't even matter out anything. They have to pause every 5 seconds, like, well, I mean, I was at the shops uh, because I just had to go there after work. You know, they speak like that. Whereas if you watch someone like Andrew Tate or Hamza or Mahdi Tijani, they talk so confidently, and that is because their immune system is strong. It's used to saying things they believe in no matter what, so they don't need to think before speaking. Because realistically, your brain is very quick. You're not supposed to stutter when you're talking. Like even right now, I am stuttering a bit because I'm just on camera. It's a bit difficult. But when you start to become a good man and you start speaking your mind all the time, it's going to become so easy to talk because your brain produces these thoughts and you don't need to analyze them because you don't need to filter out the things that you're going to say in public. Whatever you think is the version of yourself that you present to the world. You understand what I'm saying? This is some deep, philosophical, psychological, biological stuff. If you are feeling those things that I described, feeling a little bit hesitant around people, feeling like you have to act like somebody else to fit in, it's not worth it, bro. Just distance yourself from them and go out and look for people who think the exact same way as you do. People who, maybe they don't hang around the community and they talk too much. Maybe they come and do their prayers and they leave. Go and try to make friends with those people and start your own community. Because at the end of the day, we Muslims have to be in a community. This is encouraged in the Hadith, in the Quran. So go and make some friends. I'm not telling you to be a loner. All I'm saying is do not compromise your own nervous system to try to fit in with a bunch of idiots.